couple of years ago, someone came up to me and offered me a bit of money to write about the 12 Bar Club. They said they would put it out, I'd get paid for it and stuff, and they wanted to know about the famous people I'd met, what went on there, and this, that and the other, and I thought, well, I've read a lot of those books, and I read a lot of books on musicians, autobiographies and stuff, and the one thing they have a lot all going through them is the ego thing, and I thought that I didn't make the 12 Bar. You know, the 12 Bar was always there and the other people made the 12 Bar, so rather than me and then bringing my own ego into it, I just get everyone else to be involved in it. I always wrote off whenever any of the bands said that they were having a book written by the fans, and they'd have this guy who would compile it for them. So I'd always write off a story. And I never got acknowledged and never ever got printed. It must have been about 10 or 12 books. So I thought, everyone who goes in there, everyone who sends in, as long as it's not too ridiculous, will go in there. There are a series of books about bands like the Smiths and the Clash and that, which are really good books, but I don't just want loads of words, because that doesn't give anyone an idea, really, because anyone can write it. But so I wanted people to be sending in their stories, I wanted to send them their pictures. Obviously, I promoted the club, so I did my London calling and I did promotions with other people. So I got my flyers, but I haven't got everybody else's flyers. So it's great to have a collection of everything that went on at the 12 Bar, and people that I didn't know write into it. So they would write stories that I don't know. I was thinking originally if we could get, half a dozen people to put their stories in, we could have 100 pages or so. We've ended up with over 100, nearly 150 people, and we've got stories, pictures. It's great. And we did say to people, if they want to do their own design thing and send it in, great. Because then not only are we getting their stories, we're getting a little bit of them with it as well. And like myself, a lot of people probably never ever thought they'd ever be in a book, so. What was most unique about the 12 Bar was the fact that where it was located. I think the fact that we were open during the day so people could come in and socialise. We had all the guitar shops nearby. Behind we had the rehearsal studios. We have a tattooist. You could get your piercings done there. Everything went on in the area. Not only that, we had Break for the Border and the Borderline just round the corner. You had the Crowbar was there. You had the Fox moved in round the corner. At that point, there was a lot of stuff going on in that area of London. And it became a lot of things to everyone. That whole area became sort of like a musical hub.
It takes so long, it takes so much love and energy and time to put into building these things. And they just get swept away kind of so quickly.
No.
And the thing is, you can kind of go, right, we know the formula, if you will, for running a great place, but to start again from scratch in a completely different place, it seems like such a waste of really hard work.
Yes, it is.
Does it make you angry that it's gone? I mean, how do you feel about it?
As a musician, as someone who plays in bands, it's unbelievable it's gone. I don't accept that everything changes and that there's this development going on, so they have to redevelop the site. I don't accept that. The only reason it's not there is purely for money. It's for greed, someone's greed. Taking away the 12 Bar, you take away an outlet for a lot of bands, because we would give a lot of bands gigs that wouldn't get gigs. The likes of, Antifolk would not have got a Saturday night in a West End venue anywhere else. Blang probably wouldn't have got a night like they did anywhere else. So we would just do so much. We all believed in music. So as from a band point of view, I knew even if I had any working connection with the club, I'd have been able to phone up and say, I've got this band, can we come and do a gig? And Andy, the promoter, would have gone, yeah, we'll sort you out a night, come down and play. And we kept that up, but you don't have that with other venues as much now. It's a lot harder to get gigs if you're just a band starting out. But now, from that point of view, it does make me angry. From the 12 Bar, a lot of other venues have gone, but I think ours more specifically was really, we did it for the love of music. A lot of places did it to make money. They love music, but primarily they did it to make money.
But I mean, even if the 12 Bar was still going now, the whole Denmark Street has changed. It feels like sort of Soho itself and town itself has been kind of sanitised.
With London, the West End was always the be-all and end-all, because there was something for everybody there. But I think from the 90s onwards, it started declining. It's a double-edged sword, this, because once the gay community became more widely accepted and went overground, then all the small gay clubs were no longer relevant. So suddenly you lost a lot of small little places where people could hang out, where basically if straight blokes wanted a late drink, they could go to one of the gay clubs. There'd be no hassle either way. And it was just like, that was what, there was that side of London. And then you knew that places like Stallions, they only ever made money on Fridays and Saturdays. So they'd be rented, you could go and put on a show there during the week, or you could see a punk band or a kind of gig during the week. So you had a hell of a lot of those small clubs. And then by the 90s, as gay became more, mainstream, so such. So then what you did is you lost loads of the small clubs and you ended up with one or two big clubs. So that started the decline in the West End. And then, lots of other things with various building works. Westminster Council not really wanting live music and wanting new places, pubs or whatever in the area, because they stopped giving out new premises licence for alcohol-only venues. So that broke it down, and so you gradually saw a decline.
So this is a book for music fans. I'd say even whether you've been to the 12 Bar ever in your life or not, it strikes me as it's one for music fans.
Well, one of the things, and I put that in there, is that maybe one day someone will pick up a book, read through it and go, oh, I want to create somewhere like that, and then go out and create a venue that will be everything, as much to people as possible, that was focused on people's entertainment.
Now what you see ain't what you get, honey. Now what you see ain't what you get.